In the last two videos about theoretical contribution, I introduced the first and the second path for your research to make a theoretical contribution to your field. You can challenge an existing theory without proposing a new theory. You can also challenge a theory by developing a new theory. In this video, I'll introduce the third path for theoretical contributions you can make in the field of educational leadership. It is to synthesize divergent literature into a fresh theory. If it is too difficult to tell established authorities and legendary figures that their theories are wrong, you can take an easier path. You synthesize divergent literature into a fresh theory. Here, a fresh theory means an explanation that has not previously been presented in the literature. You don't have to argue that existing theories are wrong. You only need to propose a new theory, an explanation that nobody had thought about or proposed. After reading literature, you think about questions of explanations. You then formalize your ideas into a set of propositions that link cause and effect. The construct of authentic leadership can be traced back to the 1960s. Authentic leadership describes a pattern of leader behavior that accepts finitude, uncertainty, and contingency, realizes their capacity for responsibility and choice, acknowledges guilt and errors, fulfills their creative managerial potential for growth and flexible planning, and responsibly participates in a wider community. Authentic leaders also reduce ambivalence about their leadership role, process positive and negative ego-relevant information in a balanced fashion, are transparent with close others, and are guided by an internalized moral perspective. Authentic leadership has been found highly correlated with transformational leadership. If you trace the history of the construct of authenticity, you find that the word authenticity has its root in the Greek word meaning to have full power and being the master of his or her own domain. The construct of authenticity came from ancient Greek philosophy. The Greek aphorism, "Know thyself," was inscribed in the temple of Apollo at Delphi. Socrates argued that an unexamined life is not worth living. The meaning of life does not lie with seeking happiness and pleasure, but pursuing what Aristotle called the higher good, one's true calling. Scholars who proposed authentic leadership synthesized the literature of authenticity and leadership into a fresh theory. Another example is Herbert Simon's seminal book, Administrative Behavior. Simon was only 31 years old when he published his book, Administrative Behavior, in 1947. The book explained that decision-making is the heart of administration and how organizations can be understood in terms of their decision-making processes. Simon proposed that the language and theoretical framework for describing administration must be based on the logic and the psychology of human choice. If you want to make sure an organization runs well, you need to pay attention to who makes what decisions and rules and procedures used to make those decisions. Herbert Simon's administrative behavior laid the groundwork for the development of a theoretically driven empirical science of administration. One more example is my own theory paper on emotions in leaders' decision-making. I noticed that literature on educational leadership examined decision-making through broad brush strokes. To understand how leaders make decisions exactly, I synthesized literature intersecting emotions, decision-making, and organizational behavior from multiple disciplines, such as administrative science, psychology, behavioral economics, cognitive neuroscience, and neuroeconomics. With the synthesized literature, I proposed a theoretical framework of educational leaders' emotions in decision-making. The framework includes 4 core propositions. First, decisions are the outcomes of the interactions between emotions and cognition. Second, at the moment of decision-making, emotions have a pervasive, predictable impact on decision-making. Third, before making decisions, leaders' individual differences, such as trait affect and power, and organizational contexts, such as organizational justice and emotional contagion, have a bearing on leaders' emotions and decision-making. And fourth, post-decision behavioral responses trigger more emotions, such as regret, guilt, and shame, which in turn influence the next cycle of decision-making process. To synthesize divergent literature into a fresh theory, you need to know the literature in your field of educational leadership. You also need to branch out to other disciplines. In doing so, you are able to bridge across previously separate theoretical constructs and integrate them to generate new theories. In this video, I introduced the third path for making a theoretical contribution. It is to synthesize divergent literature into a fresh theory. I will introduce the fourth path for making a theoretical contribution in the next video.